Hey now, Adam Reaver, fu-tone.com here saying check out NEZ Says.
Welcome one and all to our new Wednesday night. It is NEZ Says,
on Wednesdays.
Cuckoo Wednesday night, at least for a little while. Today is March 10th of 2021, and like I said before, you tune into NEZ Says, a place where musicians can get together and inspire each other to play more guitar. I got really special news tonight. We have with us Ben Coombs, who is officially going to be a recurring co-host and third partner to the show.
Just call me Tripod.
He should be here every week unless he has something else to do. So please welcome Ben Coombs, and always my partner Ty Price. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It's really wonderful.
Really it's cool to be with you on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's different. It's like a different thing. I just want to say thanks to everyone that participated in watching Guitar of the Week yesterday. I was at Wellstrung Guitars in Farmingdale, New York, and we showed off a beautiful 1957 Gold Top Les Paul. If you haven't seen it yet, please go to my our YouTube channel and
back one video
and check it out. It's back one video. It's like 6 minutes long, so you won't get bored. And check it out. It's really great. Dave's really knowledgeable. Although his partner and daughter didn't really say much in the video, she is more knowledgeable than he is, and she'll be discussing guitars in the future with me. So check it out, please, but not until this video is done.
I want to jump into that, Dave, because that was pretty cool, man. I mean, the 57 Gold Top that you guys were talking about, it actually looked a little different than other 57s that I had that I've seen him play, and it was. I want to hear about your trip. So you go there and you.
I immediately almost fall down on his staircase.
How do you pick one guitar?
You don't.
Such a cool place.
You don't pick one guitar. What happens is you go to the front door. There's 2 steps. You get in, and immediately you're in the showroom. Now it looks a lot bigger in photos, but it's a nice, cozy little place. But the showroom itself probably has about 200 or 300 guitars in it, and they're
cool.
They're all from the 50s and 60s. I don't think there's anything from the 70s there at all. So it's all 50s and 60s, Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, maybe a Rickenbacker or 2, but everything. The Fender wall is so ridiculous. Every Stratocaster looks like a used vintage reissue. They're amazing. There was not one guitar in there that was beat up. Everything looks like it was, pleasantly used, like for a couple years. They had some dings here and there. Some of them were like spotless, like this, like brand new looking. And they were like, there was one 54 Strat there that didn't have a mark on it, other than the paint sinking into the wood from just being that old. Not one mark, not one scratch. The neck didn't have. There was no weather checking. The neck looked like the day it was new. It's incredible.
Did you play that 54 Strat?
I did. I played a couple of 54s, and one was.
Dave, what is when you're picking up a 54 Strat that's that pristine? I mean, what does the neck feel like? What are the frets? I mean,
well, the frets were very small. They were vintage frets. They were worn because, although the guitar itself was pristine, it was played, but there was no wear marks on it. The pick guard didn't have a scratch on it. Now, the guy or girl, I don't know who played it, but whoever played it was so precise in their picking that there were no pick scratches on the pick guard.
Wow.
It was insane. It
Possibly
was
a finger picker.
insane. Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe. But the frets weren't terribly worn, but they were wear to the frets. The neck is as big as you would think. It's like David calls it a large C. Fender would have called it, if it was a 54 custom shop, they'd call it a 54 U-neck. And I got to tell you, if you've ever played a 50th anniversary 54 Strat custom shop or something like that, the neck is pretty dead on. It's pretty dead on to an old one. It's amazing. They don't really veer off because I only played 2, but the 2 I played had necks that were so similar that if you closed my eyes, I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference.
So what's the radius on a 54 Strat? 7 1/4?
7 1/4? Yes.
Yeah.
7 1/4. One was super heavy, one was light. And then when I say super heavy, it was probably 9.5 pounds for a Strat.
Wow.
But still resonant. It rang like crazy.
Was it ash?
Yes. They're 54 and 55 are going to be ash.
Okay.
So I played
Alder in 56?
Alder in 56, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I played the 254 Strats. I played 2 Blackguard tellies. One that was pristine, and it was actually a NAMM show guitar from that year. And the reason it's a NAMM show guitar is because the walnut truss rod cover thing, the plug. Well, in the in the catalogs, you can't see that plug very well because it's small. So what they would do for the catalogs and for the NAMM show is they would paint it to make it look larger, and then clear over that. So that one had a painted. It was walnut, but they painted it to make it look larger, so it would show up in the catalogs. And that guitar was incredible. I played.
Bent just said something because I was like, "Hey, that 57 looks a little different than everything I've seen."
Oh yeah.
Bent Tom says that he loved the 57 video, and that he's got a buddy with a gold top, huge neck, but black pickup rings and all black. With the gold
back.
Well, it could very well be. It could very well be because back then those guitars were all hand sanded and handmade. There was no CNC machines. They were made by hand. So depending on who made it, a guy with bigger hands might have made a bigger neck. It's all relative. But
and I did hear too. I've never seen anything official, but he mentioned with the gold back, it was sort of like similar to Fender, where surprisingly certain guitars would make it well on the way to being a guitar, and then they'd see maybe a small knot in the back or something. They're like, guess what? That one's getting the gold back.
Yeah, it's getting painted, and sometimes it would be a black back, not a dark back, but a black back.
Right.
So yeah, it's very cool. So I played those guitars. I played a 1963 Tele Custom in butterscotch with white binding.
Wow.
I've never seen one.
No.
Never ever seen one before in my life.
That's early too for a Tele Custom.
Wow. Yeah. No. It's not the big pickups. It's double bound. That's what they called Telecaster Customs back in the early '60s.
Right.
So it's double bound with two tele.
Right. But usually they'd have the black binding too, wouldn't it?
Depending. If it's a sunburst, it would have a white binding. It would have a white binding if it was a sunburst.
Right.
But yeah, he also has a blonde there with black binding. He's got.
Did it have a white guard on it, Dave?
Yes.
The deluxe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dave, what David Davidson is an alum of NEZ, and we talked to him, and he's got an extensive resume with vintage instruments. How often are you going to visit his shop and feature guitars?
Every Tuesday until he said until I'm sick of it, but we'll do it until he's sick of it. So
yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we are eventually going to have his daughter Paige on here to talk to us.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's got amazing bedside manner. She knows her gear. She is going to be just like talking to any gearhead that knows everything about vintage guitars.
That's awesome. Is Paige a guitar player?
You know what? That I don't know, but I was there and I heard her talking to a customer, rattling off stuff that I was like, oh my god, oh my god, that's just amazing. My arms had goosebumps because she was talking gear, and I was like, oh my god, that's just amazing. It's great.
Sounds like every guitar nerd's dream woman right there.
Well, she's a young woman. She knows what she's talking about. She's business mind, and for her to be a partner.
Yeah.
All right, granted, it's her dad and her, but a full partner in a vintage guitar business. Kudos to Paige.
I've told you this so many times, Dave, privately, that that when we had David Davidson on the show and we were talking about vintage instruments, that is really one of my all-time favorite conversations that we've had on YouTube. I mean,
yes, it
the
was.
the way in which he described the instruments and compared them to today's instruments, and there was a lot of key takeaways for me. And
the biggest key takeaway for me is for a guy that's been doing it as long as him, there was still that passion and excitement.
He loves it.
Right.
He
And
absolutely
the fact
loves
that
it.
even like stuff we've never seen before, but he'll all of a sudden he'll come across something. He's like, okay, I've been in this game for decades and I've never seen this. There's no documentation. And it can be something, because you could custom order stuff and could be a different color binding on a specific guitar or some kind of combination that we didn't know about. But yeah, because some guy in 1961 was buddies with a Fender dealer, and the Fender dealer's like, yeah, I'll just call up and have them put that together for you.
So
it really is amazing, though, that the three of us, and we didn't plan this. I mean, we didn't. This has been sitting here, but the three of us are all holding guitar shapes that were made in the 50s.
yeah,
And it really is amazing how right these makers got it all those years ago. We are still attracted to those original designs, and look, Dave, you're holding like the spaceship of guitars at the time, right? I mean, it was so radical that they called it, the Stratocaster, to align with the whole 50s movement of space exploration and everything. And there are so many appointments on that guitar that don't exist. There is nothing ergonomically friendly about this guitar whatsoever.
but just listen to it.
But that's the key. There's nothing else that quite sounds like it either.
Yeah,
And
Although I will say, Ty,
still
with the
playing
larger
these original
radius,
designs.
with the larger radius, it made it
the-
easier to play.
There was a lot of there's no doubt there's a lot of innovation in this, and I think about this too. Is this the longest living signature model? I mean, technically, it's a signature model guitar.
well, if you ask Steve Vai, his gem is, but you're right that Les Paul is the longest living signature model.
Yep.
I mean, technically, it's a signature guitar, right?
Technically, yes, because it's got his name on it, of course.
And even if we figure, they split up in the 60s for a while, okay, well, he came back in 68, and the name hasn't left since 68.
That's
so,
true. And it started in 52, so
yeah,
it's a long time.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
two of the coolest guitars that were in that shop yesterday that I didn't get to play, but I saw, was a 1955 Strat in see-through blonde. And the reason why it's so cool is because they only made one in see-through blonde. They started making see-through blonde in 56. So to see one in 55, unheard of. There's one, and he has it. The other amazing guitar is Bill Carson's Rosewood Telly, which wasn't rosewood. The neck was rosewood, but rosewood was too heavy for him, so he made it out of ash and had them paint it to look like rosewood.
Oh wow.
and it's not a pancake body.
Huh. Wow.
And it is like a brand spanking new looking guitar. Like he didn't want anyone to put their fingerprints on it. That's how brand spanking new it is.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, with all the accolades and photos and COA or whatever you would call it at the time, but just gorgeous guitars. He had 335s. He had 58 unbound 335s. He had 59s, 60s. He has a couple bursts. He's got every gold top that you would think.
How long were you there, Dave?
I was there for about maybe an hour.
Then they threw you out?
No, they
'Cause
didn't.
you kept picking up all their gear?
No, actually, Dave wanted to talk to me. He wanted to keep putting guitars in my hands, but I had to get home because my little Chihuahua is under the weather. She has heart failure, not heart failure, but she has heart problems where her heart is it's big. It's like not the normal size. It's enlarged. So she started coughing the other day, and it hit her trachea so much when she was coughing that she fainted, and I thought she was dead. So we took her to the hospital the other day, and now we have her on medication, and we have to keep an eye on her all day to make sure she's okay. She's doing a little bit better, but yeah, so I didn't want to stay all day. I wanted to be home and take care of my dog. But he really was like, stay all day. We only get 1 or 2 walk-ins all day. The rest is all done via the internet. So if you want to stay and play guitar, stay as long as you want.
Well,
So
let me ask you about a guitar that's really old and pristine, because I've never played one. I've never played a guitar that's 50 years old and pristine. How does something like that sound? I mean, where's all the? I think of the stories that are behind a lot of these old guitars, right? And they were played, and there was so much poured into it, giving that guitar more of a, I don't know, and it's an object, so it doesn't have a soul, but giving it a soul, right? So if something's old and is pristine, what is that like? I mean, how does it sound? I mean,
all right. Well, let's say this: when you buy a brand spanking new guitar, like this one, that happens to sound incredible, bell-like. Every pickup sounds the way they're supposed to sound. It feels great. Everything about it. I think it was the luck of the draw. I think that particular guitar happened to be a real good guitar from its inception. So
yeah, we had a guest on our show, which he was such a great guest. When Marco from the Vaticans was on, he said something that was very profound, and I've repeated it to all my guitar friends several times since he said it. He said, "Look, if you get a guitar and you're not the guy that's going to play it, you're just saving it for somebody else."
yeah, and that's the truth.
If I take a hardcore look in the mirror, that's my approach to instruments. And I've told Dave before, like, Dave was like, you've got this gig, I'll send you this guitar and you can play. I was like, Dave, you don't want to send me guitars. I'm the last guy you want playing your guitars, because it's going to come back looking like some moron played your guitar. And I'm just not very gentle on them. No, not at all.
Well, you used it like they were originally designed, as a tool.
I use them.
And that's why, one of the reasons why vintage guitars look the way they look now, with the fretboards, with the divots in them and scratches and dings and paint missing, because guys and girls back then, when they were playing their guitars, they played their guitars. And they only had one.
Yeah.
So that's the one guitar they played every day, all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, what did you think was going to happen? Occasionally a guy would have maybe 2 guitars, maybe a Gibson and a Fender. You never really saw, unless you're on, you sometimes saw a guy with 2 Fenders or 2 Gibsons, but you saw a guy with a Gibson and a Fender, and usually that was a session guy, so he can have
Right.
both sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
nice
wanna
little
say
crowd
hello.
in here tonight.
Yeah, I want to say hello to a few people. Guitar Man 45, man, it's good to see you. Thomas Santiago, always great to see you, my friend. Absolute Mayhem is here. It's good to see you. And Fruitcake Tony, great to see you. Love the Joan Jett. Show us your pick.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. Oh, and Tom's here. Charlie S is here. Good to see you, Charlie.
Yeah. I got to say to Mayhem, he said, nice guitar. Well, come on over tomorrow and play it. Because he's just 20 minutes down the road from me, so.
Well,
Tell us about that guitar, Ben.
Well, this guitar was found by my best friend, Richard Shanahan, online 2 or 3 years ago now, I guess. It appeared at several Honey Badger Outfit gigs. The last band I was in with him, he'd be playing this, I'd be playing a Telly. So a nice combo of tones, as they say. This is a Jet, Electromatic Jet Pro. You can tell the Pro from the just your standard Jet because it's got the V tailpiece instead of a straight one.
Yeah.
And it also has the master volume that they got rid of on the lower end one. And this one is a limited run in Fairlane Blue. And it's got the thumbnail inlays.
Really cool color.
Yeah. It's made in China, 2017. I thought it was 2015. I'm assuming it's 2017 because it starts with 1.7. So,
Well, it's beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful
It's
guitar.
really
It's got to
cool.
sound great.
And I love the pearloid pickguard instead of just white. It's not really coming up on camera, but it is a pearloid.
And those are Hylotron style pickups, the single coils.
Yeah. No, they're a Filtertron style. They are a mini hum
Oh,
type.
I can't. All right. Well, cool. Oh, yep.
I
There you go. Yep.
I see that guitar and visions of me playing that guitar and playing Shot Down in Flames and have a drink on me and shoot the thrill. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's what comes to mind when I see that guitar.
Oh man, this thing. I was rocking out on it quite a bit last night, and ironically, it's strung with 11s. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm working because I'm usually playing 9s.
Well, that's a
although
guitar you put 11s on
It worked. Well, that's
and
what
play
Richie-
chords on it.
He has to do that anyways because he snaps strings. But I may take it down to 10s because I went from 9s up to 10s on my Les Paul, so I finally became one of those guys. 9s on my Fenders, 10s on my Gibson. But it liked it. I was like, all right, I had a set of 10s. I threw them on, and I was just like, wow, this guitar seems to have mojo. Same as the Music Man had 10s on it when I got it. I put 9s on it, and it's lost some mojo. So it's going back to 10. Certain guitars, they tell me what they like.
So let's see this thing close up.
I agree with you, Ben. I think certain guitars do want certain things. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yep.
No tuning
It's
issues?
beautiful.
Well, it's got 11, so I can barely bend the strings.
Well, I just learned something. I learned something the other day. A lot of people think tuning issues are because of bad tuning pegs or whatnot. It really isn't. You only get tuning issues on guitars if the bridge isn't cut correctly or the nut isn't cut correctly.
That's right.
So once you do that, there's a trick, and I knew this already, but if you watch Tom Bukovac's show, he showed us a trick the other day to keep your guitar, because he had a couple vintage guitars that just didn't want to behave. But when you first put a new set of strings on, if you push down on the string right on the spot in front of the bridge, right where the string hits the bridge, push down on it. So it kind of kinks it there, and then push down right on the nut, right here, right in front of the nut. Push down so it kind of seats in there and kinks in there.
Okay.
You'll never have tuning issues again. No matter what your tuning pegs are, no matter what's going on with your guitar, you can use the whammy and it'll stay in tune better. It may not stay
All right.
perfectly in tune with a whammy, but it'll stay in tune better.
All right, give me some clarity on that. So I'm changing strings. Put strings on. Tune it up. Stretch it out. Tune it up. Then
Stretch them
kink
out.
it?
Stretch them out good, and then put your finger down here and just push down on it a couple times. Just push down, like, with some force. You don't want it to hit the body, of course, because it'll probably break. But just put like a little kink on it.
I get it.
That.
Yeah. As I think it probably on a microscopic level, it makes the smallest of kinks, which is just going to be that grab point almost. So it can't go out of tune.
Yeah. It's kind of like having a double locking tremolo, but I mean, listen to this. I never heard a guitar so in tune in my life, tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
No
I
locking.
can see what the mechanical side is on that.
No locking tremolo, no locking nut, no locking tuning pegs. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So try this.
So Ben, what gauge did you say you put it on that? 11s?
This has
So 11
11s on it. That's
11
what
to
Richie
48?
uses. I'm gonna 11 through 48 Ernie balls. That's what I used to use back in the day because I started playing his guitars when I met him, and I loved the sound of 11s. Even on a telly, set of Ernie ball 11s on a telly. Ooh, sounds great. Just a little hard to do those pedal steel bends. That's why I dropped back down.
Well, I think you made a good point when you said, sometimes guitars tell you what they want. And, sometimes what you're playing kind of tells you what you should be using, right? Mm-hmm. So I have 11s on this, purple pack of Ernie balls, 11 to 48, but in E flat.
Yep.
And, if I'm doing a thing on, and look, when I just happened to be holding this because I was playing this guitar earlier, but this is a 1.14 Vortex, which, is not my normal pick of choice, but when I'm playing something like that with that gauge in that tuning, and I want something percussive, and I'm going to use a lot of heavy right hand muting, and this is so geeky. I can't believe we're talking about something so geeky, but
I'm glad we are.
I'm just thinking about
but I want that equipment is necessary. This pick is necessary. That gauge is necessary. That tuning is necessary.
I get it. When I went to play this last night before buying it, because I knew it had 11s on it, and when I used to play 11s, I used to use a much thicker pick. And so I walked over, and Rich happened to have a 1 mil pick just in there from Flipside Music. Shout out Flipside Music. Awesome guys, Denver, Colorado, which I given them, and I used them on stage. So I was like, oh, perfect. One of my picks that I used to use back in the day hit the string gauge I used to play back in the day, and I was just like, ding, yep, perfect. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm sure it rang like crazy.
I didn't even plug it in for 15 minutes. He's like, plug it in, try it out. I'm like, I don't need to. Like, if it sounds great, unplugged.
But like if I'm stringing up a Strat, and I want to do that Hendrixy thing kind of thing, I mean, you can't ignore the string gauge, right? I mean, we talked about this with Andy Alladort when he was on. I mean, 10 to 38, half step down, totally different pick. I'm using this little Fender medium kind of pick, and I'm using the shoulder. I tend to use the shoulder when I
round sound. Very
the only way I would say, like, if you're going for Hendrix and you want, we're going to up your string gauge. If you have a really heavy attack, you may want to up it, by 1 across the board type thing. But you wouldn't say put 11s on. Same as you're not putting a set of 8s on and playing Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff.
Well, here's the thing. If you're playing Hendrix music and you're playing with anything heavier than a 9 gauge pack,
it's not going to react.
You're not going to do 2-step bends on that guitar.
I think the string gauge I think of the string gauge and the Hendrix thing is often a very overlooked part of the tone character. I mean, I think the string gauge is very, very important.
I agree.
And he had a crazy left hand for grip, much like myself. So I think that's why, he was going with the 10s on the bottom, because otherwise he's just going to be pulling those chords out of tune constantly.
Well, actually, he wasn't playing 10s.
Well, like,
Hendrix,
wasn't like a 10 through a 38?
No.
I thought it was 10 on top to a 38.
It wasn't a 10. What he would do is he would buy a set of 10s but he would buy a banjo string, which was a 9-gauge, because at that time they weren't making 9-gauge strings. So
Right.
he would buy a banjo string for the high E, which the tenor string,
Sure.
if it was a 5-string banjo, that high the one that's on the bottom here, it's really high and it's usually tuned G. That's the string he would put on his guitar. He would twist the ball end on and put it in,
Okay.
and use that as a gauge. Yeah, that's exactly what he would do. And then he would use usually the 10 as your B string and take everything.
Right. Yeah.
and just
that's right.
not
Use
and
the
just
center
not use
10
a
to just
46.
top the thick string.
Yeah, and not use a 46. He would use
Right,
the
just slide them all up
36 or 38. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an important part of that character, that
Yep.
tone character. Very important. to
I
me.
agree.
But when I
So-
grab that and I want to play something, if
So
I
Ty,
wanna-
what guitar
Yeah.
is that exactly? What Les Paul is that?
Oh, it's a R7. It's an older R7. Early 2000s.
Nice.
Yeah,
Beautiful
cool guitar. Yeah, it's a cool guitar. It's got a lot of miles on it. I've got a couple of gold tops, but that one seems to sound the best. Yeah, I like it.
It usually, we all usually gravitate to something. You have a few of them, and then it's just one. There's just
Yep.
the one. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, really.
it
Mm-hmm.
really is. It really is.
But yeah, I like that, and it's gotten a lot of time lately. But Dave, you were talking about sometimes tuning issues. We immediately go, oh, okay, what can I change? What can I mod? What can I fix? Everything on this guitar was just like reworked. It's tone pro'd here. Eric Ernest at Abalone put on a new nut for me some
Bone?
years ago. Eric did set up. Well, Eric set this guitar. I mean, he is the Les Paul Whisperer. Set this guitar up for me years ago, and I don't touch it. But all of this is tone pro'd down here as well. And there's RS Guitar Works kit in here.
Yeah, the wiring, RS Guitar Works wiring is amazing.
It is.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool kit, and Eric put all of that in for me, and then we changed the switch. So, it had good bones and it sounded good, but after he got done with it, it's pretty crazy good. And these are bare knuckle mules,
Yes.
which are pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The mule pickups are incredible, especially in Les Pauls. I've got a set of mules in that Explorer that I have, that Destroyer that I have, and it's just ridiculous sounding on.
They're
big
great,
guitars.
man. They sound they're insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many good pickups. I mean, there's so many good pickups for this. It just, like I said, for me, it just all comes to, all right, how am I going to use the guitar, and what am I going to play with the guitar? What am I gonna use it for, and how am I going to use it, and that will determine what I put in it and how I set it up. And then there's guitars that you buy and you get them and you're like, man, this is just perfect. I would never change a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best kind of guitar for me, I mean, because I can put everything else out of my mind. My friend Jay and I, we were talking about a particular Nags guitar yesterday that both of us have, and we were just talking about how just right out the case, it just is always a perfect guitar. Sounds perfect, plays perfect, even hangs like perfectly. I mean, they just
They very
just
much
got it
like
right.
very much like Leo Fender in the 50s. They just got it right the first time. It's really good. Absolute Mayhem says, when it's not dependent on the song's tuning, what do you prefer, standard or half step down or something else? I guess that's for all three of us.
Ben,
That's a good question.
it's a good question.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Well, It doesn't really matter because if I'm tuning down a half step before it's for the singer's benefit, or if you're trying to get that sound, like you can't play Kiss in standard tuning. You got to play it down half a step. It just sounds weird if you don't. Van Halen, same thing. But generally, if I go down a half step, I'm going to go up a gauge. Or
but his question is if it wasn't song dependent. If it wasn't,
I think it's kind of irrelevant. A key is a key. A is A. I don't know. That I know. He's just confused. He's going to punch me in the arm tomorrow now. I just know it.
Hey Jay, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Jay?
Hey Jay. Yeah, I think I would answer his question. I would say for me, there's a preference for me. I like half step down. I like the way the guitar sounds a half step down. We had Andy Allegord on a few weeks ago. We talked about why do Strats sound so great a half step down. They do.
Mm.
But guitars like this sound right for me too. But most of my heroes, there's one huge exception, but most of my guitar heroes that I tend to tune into are half step down players. Anyway, I mean the one huge exception is John Sykes. But I love the way the guitar sounds. And I love guitars like this type of format, a two humbucker, big chunky guitar sounds through the type of amps that I like to play through. And it's all just part of it, right? It's just it's all part of it.
It's the sum of its parts.
Yeah. So for me personally, it's like a two-parter for me. Now, along with Ty, I like a half step down, but every time I get a new guitar, or when I first set up a guitar, or when and most of the time I tune it to standard. I play it in standard. I'm able to play songs on the along on the internet with it mostly because most songs are in standard, and then. Because I want a guitar to be used to being in standard. I want it to be set up for standard. And then when you back it off to go half step down, you're still going to be set up really well. And most necks are not going to move. If they move at all, they're going to have a little bit of a back bow and not enough where it's going to fret out or buzz out.
Yeah.
So if you set up a guitar in half step to begin with and then tune your guitar up to standard, chances are your neck is going to bow, your action is going to come up, your bridge is going to, if you have a Strat, your bridge is going to come up. Everything is wacky. So if you start in standard 440 and then go down from there, nothing wrong is going to happen to your guitar.
Yeah.
So
you're just relaxing.
That's the way it is for me. Yes, you're just relaxing it a little bit.
Yeah, and like you say, 9 times, or even more than that, 99% of the time, setup isn't an issue. Like say, the neck is going to move such a fractional amount, you probably won't even notice. And even things like intonation, like
Yes.
The pesky G string, you might have to give an eighth of a turn, or something like maybe like next to nothing. It's again infinitesimal. And then you're only doing that to help Jay out because he hears the unpitching and he's like, just stop it, please.
No, he'll probably return the guitar if the pitch isn't right. Anyway, the only caveat to what I just said is if you have a floating Floyd Rose.
Oh yeah.
You start it off in standard, it's nice and even. You detune it, the Floyd's gonna be all wacky. It's not gonna be the right thing. So yes, with floating Floyd Rose tremolos or locking tremolos, you have to reset the guitar up depending if you're whatever tuning you're using. Mm-hmm. So that's the only caveat.
I'm really taking note of what you said earlier, Dave, because this along with several other fiddles I have, but this had a lot of tuning problems, especially with D and G. And listen, if your G is slightly out, your whole guitar sounds like garbage.
You're damn right. Sharp or flat.
It sounds like garbage. Yep. So that G string will ruin you. But it had a lot of problems. But after the work that was done on it by, one of the best in the business, I'd never had another problem. And I did attribute a lot of it to like the sum of the parts. This is not a commercial for Tone Pros, but Tone Pros, the nut, Tone Pros. I mean, I attributed a lot of that. Also, string gauge change too.
Right.
We changed string gauge, and he cut a couple of nuts for me because on another Les Paul I was doing 10 to 52, a half step down, and then we did this 11 to 48.
Well, the major thing is when you make a nut, the nut slots themselves, they need to be loose enough where the string can glide through, but you don't want them too loose where they move around side to side.
Right.
You want them to just glide through so that when you bend a string and it bends back, it goes back. You don't want it to be too tight because once you bend a string, your guitar is going to be sharp.
Well, what do you think about those guys, us guys that use like Big Ben's nut sauce religiously?
Don't use it.
Absolutely, I would. I have no problem. Well, why wouldn't you use it, Ben?
Well, I just don't use it because I just don't have a need for it. Anytime I've had a nut binding issue, it started out first as the old piece of 600 grit sandpaper just around the string, about 3 passes. Like you say, Dave, just to take that little bit of material out of the nut. But what I found was, and especially nowadays on factory nuts, they're all cutting their nuts basically parallel with the fretboard. They're not cutting down at all in the back half of the nut.
Exactly. So that the downward angle, the string needs to touch it needs to be on the very front of the nut.
Yeah,
that's where your intonation is, and then it needs to go down from there. So it needs to sit at the very front of the nut, not in the back, not in the middle. It needs to sit on the front of the nut, and the slot needs to be downwards so that there's downward angle.
Yeah.
Kurt 5150 says that he likes it. He thinks it works great.
Yep.
I agree with you, Kurt. I don't live without it. And Guitar Man 45 says for a G string he always recuts the nut slot. So
some kind of massaging in there of some kind. And generally because I got that monkey grip, I actually cut the slot of the G string down a little bit more than the other strings. Not a lot, but just an extra couple passes with the file type thing, because I know I'm like, no, I need low nut action for that string.
Well, the most accurate intonation for a nut is cutting it as low as you can without buzz. I mean, the lowest you can do it, because if you don't cut it low enough, no matter what you do, you're going to bend sharp. You're gonna play a chord, and that chord is going to be sharp.
Yeah.
So you cut it as low as possible where there's no string buzz, and don't ask me how you do that and not make mistakes, because you do. You're going to make mistakes until you get the hang of it and you know where to cut.
Buy some cheap plastic nuts to try out first. Just play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Have to have the right angle. That's right, Guitar Man 45. And yes, Mayhem, he says he's got Friday off. We should hang. Yes, we should. Definitely. We're getting together Friday.
Guitars. Yeah.
We're going to play guitars. We're going to go to pawn shops and music stores as we usually do, because I have 2 music stores and a pawn shop within 2 miles of here. So
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah.
Make sure you wear your masks.
Always wear your masks.
Kurt's putting Graph Tech and Luby Nut on Les Pauls. I've never tried that.
Yep. Just use a pencil. I used to always carry a pencil in my little tickle trunk of parts and tools and stuff I take to gigs. Always have pencil handy for pencil lead. I've done the 3-in-1 oil on Strats, a drop of 3-in-1 oil, because I found a can of 3-in-1 oil, so I'm like, hey, I got it. Let's try it. It worked,
Cool.
But hey, Matthew Stewart, good to see you.
Hey, Matthew.
Stewart.
Hey, Matthew. Good to see you. I love
Very
Jay
cool.
Hannon. I love Jay.
Yeah, I know.
Jason.
Honorary
No
member
comment,
of
Jay.
NEZ.
Jay's been hanging
So-
out with boner jams too much. I think that's what's going on. It's
Yeah. That name itself, you know something's up with that name.
dude, nothing better. I love going grocery shopping wearing my Boner Jams t-shirt with his green avatar. Big thing, Boner Jams. The looks I get, because I like to go right after lunch when most of the seniors are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love me. They just shake their head. Damn hippies.
Clean up on aisle 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can we talk about this guitar a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about
Can
that.
we please? Because I've been drooling all over this thing looking
All
at that.
right,
thing.
so the story is, I'm insane with the way I think I need to have guitars. First of all, when I get a guitar, I need to have a maple fretboard version and a rosewood fretboard version if they make that. So as you
OCD much, Dave?
as you know, I had a black over Paisley Strat 69
Yeah.
Strat,
Wicked Strat.
and it was amazing, and I loved that guitar. But I saw this guitar at Wildwood, which is made by the same master builder, Jason Smith. This is a 1960 slab board rosewood fretboard Strat, tall frets, 6105s. It's called a Wildwood 10, so it's got a 10-inch radius, which is
Love those.
slightly flatter than a regular Fender, so you can bend for days. It's got Wildwood 10 underwound pickups in it, so they're
When you
super-
say slightly flatter, you're comparing it to 7 1/4.
yes,
Right.
or
Or
even
even
or
modern
even 9.5.
Or that's right. That's right. 9 1/2. That's right.
So it has the Wildwood. I got this from Wildwood Guitars. So when I say Wildwood, I mean from that store. So they have what's called the Wildwood 10 guitars, and it's 10 things that they did to vintage style guitars to make them a little bit better, a little bit easier to play, and more pleasing. So the Wildwood 10 pickups, they're underwound, they're more bell-like, so you have to turn your amp up to get some girth out of them. But not that I play anything like Steve Ray Vaughan, because I can't. But if you've ever heard his #1 guitar, with the SRV on it, the really beat up one, his pickups were very underwound. They were not heavy or overwound pickups. They weren't big. They were big sounding because of everything else. But they were also super bell like. The bridge pickup was very pleasing. It wasn't shrill. The middle pickup sounded like the best quacking Hendrix pickup you ever heard. And the neck pickup was the best sounding neck pickup Strat you ever heard. I mean, it just is what it is. Steve Ray Vaughan's guitar, as a guitar, sounded incredible, with or without his hands.
All right,
So
Dave,
this
help
is-
me with this for a minute. Just for a minute, because I love, Andy Aladort wrote that book on Stevie
Yeah.
that I love that book. Great. Probably the best Stevie Ray Vaughan book I've ever read. And in the back, huge gear appendix in the back of the book. But I'm surprised to learn that his pickups were so underwound, because I always had the perception, right, wrong, indifferent, that the Texas Specials, which are hot, were crafted to imitate his tone. So
Right.
No, what the Texas Specials were made for, when Fender originally went to Stevie and said, "We want to make you a artist guitar." They said, "Oh, well, what do you want?" And he said he'd like something a little bit hotter than what he has. He wants a brand new looking guitar like his #1. He just wants a brand new looking one, and that's what they made him. They made him that guitar. with slightly hotter pickups, and that's what the Texas Specials are. But the pickups in his guitar are just normal. He says they're from a 59 Strat, which they probably are. I think Andy said they were. The neck and body is either a 62 or a 63. I can't remember. Not a slab board neck. The original neck was a veneer, had veneer rosewood. So it was either late 62, early 63. Pickups came out of a 59 Strat. They were very underwound. What made it sound so big is Stevie's strings, his fingers, the amps that he used. He always played super loud. It was a big sounding guitar because he played very loud.
Yeah.
Or loudly.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
I've also,
So-
I happen to know, right, Dave, I
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
like on those pickups, I happen to notice because Wildwood's been doing the Wildwood 10 for a few years now.
Like 10 years, yeah.
10
Almost
years,
10 years.
yeah. I've noticed because, I go into a lot of the stores, play a lot of Strats, okay? For demos for the channel, my channel. And I noticed every year the pickups were getting better, a little more bell-like, a little
Yeah.
glassier.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm there. I'm playing through. I'm playing a Strat through a Marshall. Beautiful. Oh, it's nice sound. Set up clean using a Wazcraft Blues driver for a little gain. And I was like, okay, this sounds good. And I had a decent volume, so it wasn't because I'm shooting on the store floor. I'm not blaring it, but it's loud enough to be picked up and drowning out me playing acoustically at least. And I was like, oh wow, beautiful sound, had it set up. Do the video, put the guitar back, grab a Les Paul. Plugged it in, you swear I turned up that amp a full number. Because all of a sudden it sounded like I was at stage volume. And the clerk came over, he's like, holy crap, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I did not change a thing. He's like, that much of it is? I said, you got a repair shop here, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you have an ohm meter? Because I want to test the pickups, He said, why? And I noticed Gibson's going a little hotter. They want to go more of an 8 than the 7.5.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, what used to be a 4.5 is now a 3.5 on the Strats output,
Yeah.
which is more traditional. And I went, that's why there's that classic bell sound. And I'm like, smart move, Fender, smart move, because they're just
I love
sounding
that
more
sound.
and more chimier. Yeah.
I love that sound. I mean, it's the Stratocaster is such a perfect sounding instrument. Even though I spend most of my time playing humbucker guitars because of the types of things I go and play, nothing is prettier sounding than a Stratocaster to my ear.
You're absolutely right.
Perfect. It is just a perfect sounding
Absolutely.
guitar, even with a 60 cycle hum. I mean, I love it. It's part of it. My son is a beginner, is really a beginner guitar player, but he's learning what he likes. He's a good enough player to begin understanding what he likes. And he's 17. And he has completely gravitated towards Stratocasters.
Yeah.
Maybe I ran him off from those. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because he sees me with those all the time. He's like, well, I'm not touching
you know
that.
what? It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
But
'cause
yeah.
Stratocasters are
But
amazing.
he's figuring it out. But he asked me a few weeks ago. I mean, he's plugged into a small box, and he says, "What is that noise?" The sound of a Strat.
Oh, yeah.
He's experiencing that 60 cycle hum, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
a beautiful
It's great.
thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It's
Is
part
there
of
a
the
better
sound.
sounding neck pickup in a production guitar
No.
across the board? Like, I do love a Les Paul's neck pickup, especially for lead. There's nothing better than playing minor pentatonic on a neck pickup on the 12th fret on a Les Paul. But if you're playing chords or anywhere else on the fretboard, the neck pickup on a Stratocaster, forget about it.
I know. No kidding. Hey, James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good to
hey
see
James, how are you? So all right. So I have this black Strat, and I was like, well, I've been trying to sell some guitars here to buy this guitar. I saw it at Wildwood. I was like, well, that's it. Dakota Red is the color, my favorite color. And
You
the
have a
reason-
connection to that color, right?
The reason why is because it reminds me of my mom's lipstick when I was younger.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a very, very distinct color. So I see this guitar. It's a master built guitar. by Jason Smith. My black Strat was a Masterbuilt Jason Smith guitar. So my buddy Dennis, our alumni Dennis, has been buying guitars from Justin at Wildwood for quite a while. So he told me to call Justin. I did. Justin made me a deal that I could not refuse. Got the guitar in 2 days from Denver, Colorado, and I'm in New York.
Wow.
I opened the case today, and out comes a guitar that's not only perfectly in tune, set up perfectly, use the tremolo, like almost Floyd Rose-like, and it's just comes back to tune. Everything is right on it. Plugged it into the amps. The pickups sound incredible. Everything about the guitar was incredible. So I traded that black Strat for this, and now I'm missing this. Now I'm missing a maple Strat, maple neck Strat, and I sold my Fool SG, and today I sold the green Charvel because I have other Charvels. I've got two more. I've got an original '82 Strat head San Dimas, and I've got another Nitro series in Dakota Red, which is that one right there. Mm-hmm. And Dakota Red on that guitar looks darker because this is faded Dakota Red. So it's like
cool.
Like if it was in a window for a year or two.
Sure.
But so I sell those two guitars. I got this guitar today, and I called up Justin. I said, Justin, you know that 55 Strat you have? Yeah? Well, send me a PayPal invoice. I'm buying it today. So that happened. And I said, get me a price on 2-day shipping. He says to me, don't worry about 2-day shipping. I got you overnight. So I'm getting that guitar tomorrow.
Nice.
And we'll talk about that. It's a 2-tone Sunburst. This is an alder body. That one will be an ash body. Maple neck, of course. So it'll sound like a Strat, but quite different than this.
Sure.
And I'll have my two Strats. I'll have a rosewood and a maple. And I don't think I really gave up too much because I have an SG Junior. I've got a red 61 SG custom shop. I didn't really need, although the Fool is a great conversation piece, it afforded me to get something like this.
Right.
And again, the Charvel, great guitar. I love it. The guy's coming tomorrow to get it. And I don't have to ship it. He's coming from upstate New York, which is about an hour away where he lives.
Beautiful.
To pick it up. So, I'll miss that guitar, but I have two other Charvels that I would have picked up before that one anyway. So, I think I made out on the
I
deal.
think you did.
I will not tell you guys how much monetarily these things are because you'll all hate me because I'm almost hating me. But this is probably the best Stratocaster I've ever played.
Nice. Well, that's the whole point right there.
Jay says, Dave, did you show off your other new guitar?
Well, I got a Swirled Universe Ibanez.
Really?
Yeah. Would you guys like to see it?
Well, Boner Jams just showed up, so how can we not?
Okay, so let me just let myself out of here real quick.
You do whatever you need to do.
I'll be right back. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I think
Well, now that we have,
I think Dave's Red Charvel needs to vacation south some this summer.
I
think
you
it
know,
needs to spend some.
that's one of my wish
needs
list
some spending-
guitars. I have no business
Yeah,
owning a Charvel San Dimas, but I gotta have one.
Yeah, I would like to have one.
Yep, that's definitely on my list. What's up, Boner Jams? Good to see you in here.
Hello, Boner Jams.
So much male sex appeal on tonight's show. What's going on?
Well, you missed it because 5 minutes ago, Ben was talking about all the cool looks he gets in the grocery store from senior citizens when he wears your T-shirt.
Yeah. Said that.
You're popular with the 65-plus crowd.
That's right. Like, who is that handsome devil? And who's the non-handsome devil wearing the guy's shirt?
All right, so Boner Jams has asked me to find him a Swirled Universe for the longest time, and this one was so cool that I had to buy it. I couldn't.
So you found one for him, but bought it for yourself.
Yep. and here it is.
Oh,
Nice.
there we go. That's
Yeah.
funny.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
That's funny.
See, there you go, Boner Jams. Here's your 7-string.
Hell.
That was a lot of waiting for a very small.
He's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. I don't know. Jay got a kick of that out of that today when I said I got a 7-string Universe swirl, and then I showed him.
Because
That.
Jay's probably like, what? That would be like Jay texting me saying, so I just picked up a Jaguar. You did? Why would you have a Fender Jaguar, Jay? Why?
I
just can't see it.
I thought this was very cool, and I've got an ample amount of these mini guitars
They're great.
on my wall. I've got all the Van Halen ones. I've got a Steve Ray Vaughan one. I've got a White Gem Steve Vai one. I think I got a Larry Mitchell one.
Nice.
I'm waiting for the Nags one, Larry, but I have an Ibanez Larry Mitchell guitar. So
Nice.
That's cool.
yeah. So tomorrow by noon I will have the two-tone Sunburst 55 Strat,
Sweet.
and
And
it
we
should
will
be
not
amazing.
hear from Dave for approximately 3 days.
Well, maybe not. But I can't play too much because I hurt my hand. And this happened at occupational therapy for my thumb. What they do is in the very beginning they put your hands under hot wet towels to moisten your hands up for them to work on them. And I told them yesterday, I said, you know what, these towels are a lot hotter than normal. And they were like, well, just keep your hands under there. 15 minutes. They work on my hands. I get home and I've got this humongous blister at the very tip of my finger. You can see my finger kind of looks like E.T.
Right?
That's the blister.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's insane. So, although I'm getting these cool new guitars, now I can't even play them because I play with this finger a lot.
Sure.
So, it's 7/8. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that, but it's getting blood from a stone. They don't
Be
have
right back,
it's,
guys.
yeah, it's not like they're a
They will
they have-
paperwork it for years.
yeah,
Drag it in.
and they're not part of the medical field, so they don't have medical malpractice. It's just
Yeah.
it would cost me a lot of money and a lot of time to sue them. So I don't know. But no, I know you're kidding. I didn't know you were kidding, but I was seriously thinking about it until I did some homework. And you
Right.
end up losing money by suing them for something like that because it takes forever to do it, and you have to pay. You have to pay for everything. It's not worth it.
That's right.
So tomorrow at 12:30, I'm going to the surgeon that took care of my thumb. He says you can't do anything with that. It's just got to heal on its own, but he wants to take a look at it, so I have to
Just
take
keep
a
an eye
ride to
on
show
things.
it to him. And
Sure.
yeah, I've got bacitracin on it. I got to change the bandage every 12 hours or so.
Nice.
Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it. I didn't want to bring everyone down, but I figured you guys are going to see what the hell's on Nesdall's finger now. You know.
I thought you just had your finger in the old candy floss by the looks of things. And I'm like, Dave, you're diabetic.
No.
Get out candy floss.
No, this stretchy tape stuff. I have colors, and I'm out of the purple. I'm out of the green. All I had was pink left. So, whatever. I don't care. I'm almost pink looking. It's kind of matching.
Exactly. We live in the upper part of North America, and it's only just spring.
Yeah.
We're not going to have any color for another month or two.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I've got one more thing to show.
Well, please.
Oh,
So I'm going to show a parts caster that that's been put together, and this is going to be on its way to Long Island very soon. And here it is.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, here it is. It's a it's made out of spare parts, and
Sure.
the body's been painted. It's been painted by hand. It's been oversprayed, kind of like Hendrix's was, because this was Fiesta Red originally, right, Dave?
Yes.
And Hendrix oversprayed it. and painted all of this. And all of this is done by hand, and it's not clear coated. It's done
Beautiful.
about as close to his as it could be, right? So, but here's the really cool part. So I'm sending this to Dave to New York, and Dave's gonna set it up. Everything works. It just needs a good setup.
Looks like a bow and arrow right now.
Isn't it cool?
I can see the action. Jesus.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
look, I put it together. I did, it's not.
Yeah, that's a Stevie Ray Vaughan action right there.
It's not playable yet.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give this guitar away.
Wow.
So if you're sub to this channel, and you want a cool guitar, this might fit the bill. So I think we haven't decided when we're going to do it. We're going to do it real soon, next month or so.
Okay.
And we're going to give it away to a subscriber.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Need not be present to win, but we're gonna give it away, and hope somebody loves it and enjoys it. And I'm gonna send a pack of the strings that I was just talking about with Dave and Ben a minute ago. The Hendrix Voodoos, they are 10 to 38s.
Nice.
And Dave will put that on and give it that cool NEZ thing, and we're gonna give it away.
Wow.
Hey, Ted.
Ted, thank you very much. I did read what you said. I don't know if you're on Facebook. Try to if you can catch me on Facebook, friend me, or my email address is dnrwb5150@aol.com. Please get in touch with me. I'd love to talk to you. They did put those insulate pack, the packs in insulation and with towels. But it was still way too hot, a lot hotter than normal. But yeah, let's talk, please.
Okay. And we got Mark Effects here as well.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Awesome. And Kurt says, "Yeah, any guitar set up by Dave is worth it right there."
Well,
Yep.
thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, it's a love. I love to do it. I love working on guitars. I love playing them when I can, but I love setting up guitars. Anytime I get to fondle a guitar and make it play as best as it can.
Is there nothing better, Dave, than getting a basket case, or something that feels like a basket case, and you're like, something that even it looks like it'd be a challenge, and not only do you get it playable, but you get it dialed in and playable. You get that extra little bit out of it. You're like, damn, now I don't even want to give back to the guy.
Right. Yeah. So, real quick, guys and girls in the chat, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. I'd like us to get to 2,000 subscribers. We're at about 1.18. Please, if you haven't subscribed, it just takes a second. Click that button and click the little bell next to it so you can get all of our notifications. It only takes a minute. You'll be doing us a favor. It'll also help us bring you better information, better shows. It'll be stuff that you'll enjoy. We always have great guests on here. And even when we don't have great guests, we like to invite members of the chat up here with us on the screen so that you could talk to us. Yep. We really enjoy doing this, and we bring this not only to us, but to you guys and girls. We are going to start doing this on Wednesdays for a while, and we'll see how it works. Ty has been very lucky to be able to play live Thursday through Saturdays for the next few months. So good for him to be able to play his guitar in front of crowds and all over the country. So
I'm jealous.
Excellent.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous too. I'm very happy for you, Ty. I'm so happy that we talked and decided to do this on another day so you could still be with us. And I know there'll be some times when you can't make it because of rehearsals or whatever, traveling or whatever. But thank you so much for suggesting we change days. Also, I just want to say we are going to do one more Thursday night Ty won't be with us. It'll be the 18th of March. We will have Will Ray here from the Helicasters, and Ben and I will talk to Will Ray. So that's something.
We may talk about these shaped guitars.
Yeah, or we'll talk about either Telecasters or cigar box guitars, because that's what he's playing mainly now.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
I got
he
one
makes cigar box guitars, and he buys them, and he buys them with like Squire next on them and makes them amazing. Like he makes them amazing. Puts great G&L pickups in them. He makes them like real guitars. So it's very cool.
Geez, chat's just lighting up here. We got Deja Voodoo in here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Islander
Cool
Winder.
name, man. Deja
I
Voodoo.
love
I
that
love
name.
that.
Absolutely.
I'm just picking a guy in St. John's winding pickups.
That's a great Kenny Wayne Shepherd song.
It is. We have 41 people watching us right now.
Nice.
If you haven't given us a thumbs up, please give us a
Thank you,
thumbs
Jay.
up. If you give
Thank you, Boner Jam.
if you give us thumbs down, that's fine too. A view is a view. So if you're not really caring about what you're seeing, you want to give it a thumbs down, it's okay. I'm not going to be upset. But if you can give it a thumbs up, that's always nicer.
I'm just saying thumbs up over thumbs down only because of karma, folks. That's it. That's the only reason. You know, it's still an interaction.
That is absolutely awesome. Yes.
You know? And yeah, I'm looking forward to the phone call on Friday. Mayhem. He might be going off doing some more work. He had to update 200 servers today for work. So, yeah, lucky Mayhem.
That's a busy day.
Yeah.
That is.
Ted, I just got your message. I'll read it after the show, and if it's okay for me to return the message tonight, I will. If not, I can return it tomorrow. I much after 10 o'clock, I go to sleep. I'm an old man, so 50 years old. Morning comes very fast, so and I love sleep. But I will try to contact you right after the show.
Hey, Terry Himes. I rock the blues.
Yeah, hi guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up, everyone. Really
All the
appreciate
cool cats
this.
are showing up.
Thank you very much.
If you have any questions about stuff that we've shown tonight, or if you have any questions about stuff that you want to see, if you just want to know about stuff, please ask. We're happy to answer anything that we could possibly answer. And if we don't have the answer for it, we'll find the answer and tell you. We're not just going to, blow smoke up your rear ends, and we're not going to just say stuff off the top of our heads. If it's something we don't know, I will personally do the
I do it,
I'll
and
do
you guys
homework.
correct me. Like, come on.
Whatever. I'll do homework. We'll all do homework, and we'll get back to you. We'll do it. If you guys want to leave a comment on the bottom of the page, please
In that
do.
section there. What's it called? The comment section. That's it.
I always answer comments. Always. It also, when you leave comments, true story, it helps these videos. It helps
they get
the
shown
videos.
more as a replay item.
The more comments, the more these videos show up on YouTube, where you don't have to actually look for NEZ Says. It'll be in your feed somewhere.
Right in your face.
So, yeah. So, please, ask away.
Ooh, Friday's a big day. Larry Mitchell is re-releasing his first record.
Yes,
awesome.
On Bandcamp. It's going to be on Bandcamp. I don't think he's going to have hard copies, but you can get the Larry Mitchell record on Bandcamp, and it's going to be amazing because that record has been out of print for 30 years.
Long overdue. To get it back out there for a new generation of listeners.
And if you
Going
know
to
who
be
Larry
awesome.
Mitchell is and you like him, he does 2 shows a week. On Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, he does his Facebook Live, which is also on YouTube.
Yep.
And that's all electric. He does all electric. And then on Sunday nights, also at 9 o'clock or thereabouts, he does something that's called It Happened on a Sunday, and that's all acoustic. He plays acoustic nylon string guitar over his tracks of all his records. So check that out, man. It's great. It's a lot of fun. He does acknowledge that you're there watching him. If you say hello to him when he's not playing, he will acknowledge you. He is a super nice guy. He is one of my best friends. He is one of the best guitar players I know. He is. If you don't know who Larry Mitchell is, he is. If you took Eddie Van Halen and Prince and mashed them up, that is Larry Mitchell.
Yep.
So,
And even if he didn't play guitar, I would still be a huge fan because he's got to be one of the most nice and inspiring guys I've ever had the pleasure of talking to.
His smile is stunning. Like, he is always smiling. Even when he's in a bad mood, you don't know it because he's always smiling. He's always happy. Great guy.
I agree.
So check that out.
Wait. Yeah, can't wait to hear that record again. Going to be fantastic, and we are being reminded of another record being released on Friday.
Oh yes, the Gizmochi record.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved the playthrough video that Jay posted. Just it'll be fantastic. I look forward to hearing that. Look forward to hearing that whole record, and I mean the solo on that playthrough.
I've never heard Jay so angry. Jay sounds angry. I don't know if he just stays up all night so he gets cranky and then he plays these wicked riffs. But there's
I don't know solo
if it's anger or aggression or
it's
in your face like a snowy sock.
I will say this: you all know how serious I am, and I say what I say. I say what I mean. I say what I feel, whether it's right or wrong. You love me or you hate me. Now, the style of music that Jay plays and that he enjoys is not my cup of tea. It really isn't. But
I love it.
I
love it.
That record is from front to back amazing. It is super technical.
I'm the same way, Dave.
It is melodic.
Not my cup of tea, but I'll drink a cup.
It is. There is not one iota of a mistake on anything. It still has human feel to it. Yes. Although it's very technical music, it's got human feel. I'm not crazy about, Cookie Monster vocals, but on this record, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything is fantastic on this record. You need to check it out.
Yes. Same, Dave. Like, I'm not into that style of music, but I can listen to it, appreciate it. But I found myself, when they've been doing the premieres and stuff of their singles, I was like, I'm not only appreciating it, but I was like, wow, I'm digging this. Like, I'm finding something in every track I can latch onto myself, whether it's a groove or, a solo or, some kind of a bridge in another song or just holy crap.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate how creative it is. The composition, I'm always fascinated. I've told Jay this before. I'm always interested in how compositions come together, and it's the creativity is inspiring. You listen to it as a guitar player, regardless of what style you may play. You listen to that as a guitar player and you respect the artistry, that's behind it. I also really dug the guitar tones. I just think they're just brutal guitar
and they're
tones.
crystal clear. A lot of time on that style of music, kind of a little mumbled, jumbled, because it's all 7-string or 8-string. It's very hard to hear those low strings sometimes. This is just crystal clear. You can hear everything. It's great. And I really think that's part and parcel because Jay is an amazing engineer.
Yeah. He's got that ear that hears all the right stuff.
Yeah. Crazy Cook, how are you? Quentin James, how you doing, buddy?
The Lord of Louisville himself, Quentin James, is here. Wow.
Yeah. Crazy Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have Jay on and walk us through like a signal chain and do a rig rundown of what he recorded and how he recorded it. If he's willing.
Yes, absolutely. Boner Jams, you are right. Jay has the best ear for music.
Yep.
I lost you. The kid can write some dope-ass riffs and phenomenal solos. Yeah, it's absolutely correct.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, the guitar duel between Jay and Larry Mitchell.
Oh, that was so cool.
My God, it's just ridiculous.
I'm so
Watch
used
the
to
video.
hearing Larry playing his newer, more melodic stuff that Jay, had to tell, he's like, yeah, that's Larry. I'm like, what? And I'm like, because I forget. I'm like, right. When Larry just wants to here it is. I'm going for it. And he went for it. And the trading off the lip, forget about it. It was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool.
And Quentin's just stirring up trouble.
Quentin, we don't talk bad about any guitar company here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We just don't talk about that company. Exactly. Right. Larry went back to 1990 for his solo.
Man, yes, it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
So what else we got, guys? It's 9:28.
This has been fun. This is a good discussion. Love this, Ben.
We've got
Thank you.
43 people looking at us right now.
Oh dear Lord.
And we appreciate every one of you.
Yeah. This has been great. I always love hanging in the chat. I've been on with you guys once or twice in the past. Always had a blast, and it's just I learn something every bloody time. So I love it. Both
Me
of you
too.
guys are very passionate about it. I love it. You know your stuff, and it's great because we can deep dive, get really nerdy, and just talk gear and. Love it.
So Ben, now that you've been promoted to co-host,
yes,
we need a new moderator.
I'm looking at Bent Tom.
Oh, cool.
If Ben Tom has the time to do this, we would love to have you as a moderator. I could even give you a wrench. I can't do it right this. I can't do it right this minute, but I will.
Connects with guitars with me. He's just he's been on the channel. He's just as passionate as we are, and he'll beat up a guitar just as much as Ty, if not more, because he's got that acid sweat. So he can take your guitar, Dave, and make that look like Rory Gallagher's in about a week and a half.
In case you haven't seen this guitar, let's show it one more time as I drop it.
Hey, six-string Brian.
Hey, six-string Brian.
Hey, six-string Brian.
Uh-oh, this might be six-string Brian's String. He's been looking for a Strat for a while, except he's looking for a 57.
Well, yeah. This is a 1960 custom shop master built by Jason Smith.
Very sweet.
In faded Dakota red. It is just ridiculous. There's another one coming tomorrow. It'll be a 1955 two-tone sunburst maple neck. I'm done with Strats. That's all I need. These two guitars. These two Strats for Strats.
And Tom says he'd be
forever.
honored to be a moderator.
Thank you, Tom.
What I'll try to do tomorrow is make it so you have a wrench, so you have some power in here.
Yeah, he can throw the links in there and stuff. He's good at that. I do it as well. I can multitask too, especially if you guys are talking technical. If you see my eyes glaze over, I'm just looking for that link to pop in the chat. Honest.
Yeah, you're good at that, Ben.
Yeah, you really are.
I try.
I mean, you come with the links quickly.
From time to time, my wife Desiree. Well, we're not really married yet, but my wife anyway. She's a moderator on here from time to time, which we appreciate. But she can't make it to every show. It's just impossible. She works so many hours that she enjoys a couple hours to be by herself with a TV or a book. So.
And not hearing you talk about guitars.
Exactly.
Right? Let alone a group of us.
You should have been here in the last 2 days when all I could talk about and they did this for me and they did this for me and the shipping is they're doing an overnight shipping for free and this guitar and she's like, shut the F up. You're lucky I'm not pissed off at you for getting these things.
It's always cool when you have a good customer experience.
Yeah. And it's like a kid in a candy store for 2 days,
True.
checking the FedEx. Where is it now? Where is it now? It's not coming today. It's still in Louisville. It was this morning. It was 2-day shipping for this, and until this morning, like at 4:00 in the morning, it showed that it was still in Ohio.
I gotta ask this because I mean both of you have gotten new gear. I've been watching a lot of a lot of guys are getting new gear, and everybody's super excited about posting their new gear. And we all know that that 2020 was an amazing year for manufacturers. And we're all so happy that has happened. And we're happy that more people are picking up instruments and learning how to express themselves with those instruments. But I got to ask you, you get a new instrument.
Yep.
What's your verdict on letting it acclimatize when you get the box? I mean, how do y'all feel about, am I the only guy that gets something, brings it in, cuts the box open right away and gets to it?
I do it.
I mean,
I do it.
I do it too. Did it with this. But it was very mild today. It was 60 degrees today here in New York.
And the way I see
even in the cold weather, usually my guitars are relics. Usually they're not brand new, so I don't care if it gets weather checking. I don't really care. And I'm that guy that needs instant gratification anyway. And when I was on that other show, I would get yelled at all the time for not showing my unboxings because I would unbox it during the day. So,
Sorry, just comment in the chat got me going.
Yeah.
Hey, Amanda.
So
it's good to see you.
That's the comment. Hey, sis.
Hey Amanda, how are you? So yes, I opened the box right away. I can't wait to see what I got.
Kurt does too.
Yeah. The only time I might wait is if it's a semi-hollow body guitar or a hollow body guitar or an acoustic, which I don't need. No, there ain't no acoustic. But where it could fold into each other if it's too cold and it gets into a warm weather. But solid bodies, come on, give me a break. You can drop a Stratocaster off a building and it ain't gonna break.
Yep.
So opening a cold box is not gonna hurt that guitar.
Dave, I don't know if I knew that. Do you not have an acoustic guitar?
No, I do. I just don't play it.
Okay.
But the acoustic guitar I have is ridiculous. It's a Martin D45.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah,
CJ?
my father bought that for me about
CJ.
6 years ago. So
Nice.
take care, Jay.
Yeah, I'm
What
the
year?
same way.
It's a
years
new
did
one.
it-
It's a new
Okay.
one, or it's a newish one. It's got a pickup in it. It's gorgeous, but it's got big old 13s on it, and I've had trouble with my hands, as you know, for several years now, and I can hardly play on 9s right now, so let alone 13s. I can't even strum it. I can't hold it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm like Dave. I can't wait. But I'm a klutz anyway, so I'm going to wreck the guitar sooner or later anyways, Ty. And the way you described, like if we lend you a guitar to play with, you might as well just open it right away. You're going to wreck it anyways, so who cares? Just have fun. And like I say, if you get a little checking, good luck. First of all, congrats, you bought a guitar with nitro paint. So,
Yeah.
Right there, congrats.
There was a guy on Facebook today who showed a picture of his guitar, and it might, I don't know what it was. It's just a picture of the fretboard, and it had a divot in it, like just from use. It wasn't like it got scraped out. It was like an old guitar gets, from using it all the time, it gets those relic marks and it kind of divot in the fretboard. So the heading was, who do I send this to fix? And I wrote on it, I'm like, the best 50s and 60s guitars have that. It's just, all it does is create character. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Your finger is not going to feel that anyway. If you don't grab the fretboard and the neck like a gorilla, you won't feel it. You'll feel the strings on the frets. You won't even know that's there. And I didn't get an answer yet, so I figured he probably didn't like my answer.
Good question, Shelley.
Hi,
Good
Shelley.
question. Better to keep guitars on the wall or in a case?
They're in a case that won't get played with me.
Right. It depends on how often you use them. If they're in a case, chances are you won't have to set them up as much. But like over here, these guitars are all. I may not play them every day, but I think I may have one guitar on that wall that has a neck that's like it's in the witness protection program. It moves so much, but other than that, none of my guitars need any work to them. But it's so mild here on Long Island. Usually, it's never really too dry. It's never really too moist. They all on that wall, they're fine. Or I have them on stands, as you can see here. I've got a couple stands right here next to my computer, next to my rig, next to my computer. So I don't keep any of my guitars except for my Martin in the case.
Yeah, same.
They're fine. They're fine. I don't even have to change strings very often. I don't have heavy pH in my hands, so I can have a set of strings on my guitar for 3 months, and they feel like brand new strings.
Nice.
I wish I had that problem. I'm not one to tell people how they should do it. I mean, if you like putting them on a stand and displaying them, awesome. If you like hanging them on the wall, awesome. Whatever. The guitar is yours. Let it bring you the most joy, and put it in an environment that brings you joy. But if you're going to play it, I have a couple of things that really work for me. I keep some guitars out that I like to play a lot, that I grab and play, and I believe in making it very convenient, so I can always play it. I can plug it into a rig that is very convenient. Doesn't take me a long time. I don't have to set things up and go through a big hassle in getting a guitar to plug into something that's going to make noise, whether that's a modeler, a computer, or an amp, or whatever. It's just super simple. So I keep it handy, keep it simple, grab it, plug it in, and you can play it. And you get to you spend less time with the gear and you spend more time playing. I believe that's something that really, really works for me. And I try to play as much as time allows. Sure. And the older we get, the less time we seem to have. So if we can make it convenient on ourselves, we'll find time to do that.
Yes.
So I have guitars out.
I see. Shelly says she lives in Florida. Two things. One, I agree with Dave. My acoustic stays in its case too, because it's a little easier climate-wise. Because acoustics are more susceptible to environmental interference, we'll call it. In Florida, if you have it out on a stand, just as long as it's not like sitting in a window where it gets direct sunlight on it, or if you got really excited dogs, you might not want to leave it out on a stand, or if you got toddlers, you may not want to leave it on a stand.
Ben, I do have to correct you for 1 second. So we don't really know if Shelly is a female or a male because
True.
Shelly is also a Jewish male name.
Right.
So
short for Sheldon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
true.
Forgive us if you're a gentleman, and forgive us if you're a female and I'm saying you're a gentleman. So either way, forgive us. And also welcome, because I think today is your first time here. So welcome. We will be doing this
welcome.
on Wednesday nights for a while. We've been doing this since, I believe, last March on Thursday nights. The name of the show is called NEZ SEZ. You can catch us on Facebook, NEZ SEZ.
Female.
We have, well, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Shelly. Check out these shows. In general, we interview celebrity musicians most weeks. We do have weeks like this where we talk amongst ourselves, and we have weeks where we invite some of the chat people into this to join us on video. So we do integrate everyone from the chat from time to time. So thank you so much. Six String Ryan wants to know where I can recommend for him to buy a custom shop Strat. Well, there's always the Music Zoo here on Long Island, but my newest favorite place is Wildwood Guitars in Colorado. When you call Wildwood, you're going to ask for Justin. Justin is the man. He will bend over backwards for you. Their selection of custom shop Strats are ridiculous. Now, they are expensive. You're going to spend anywhere from $4,000 on up. But the guitars that you get are not just normal custom shop guitars. These guitars, every one of them is set up perfectly. When you get the guitar, it's going to be in tune. It's going to be set up perfectly. It's going to be the best version of that guitar that you've ever wanted. It's just Wildwood gets the best gear. They take care of their gear. And the guitar that you see on their website is the guitar you get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing. The care that they put into these guitars is second to none. And that's my little rant on, not even a rant. That's my my yay Wildwood guitars. Speak to Justin.
The best place to buy a custom shop Strat is the place that has the custom shop Strat that you want.
That's exactly true.
Yeah,
I was thinking Carter's too. They get
there's so many great. I love Wildwood.
They seem to turn over a lot of like that newer custom shop stuff. Like second owner type. Like they find the second owners for that stuff.
Yes.
And they've been doing some deals over the last year too. But I think Brian already knows that. He was down in Nashville when I was down there, and I'm pretty sure he hit all those shops because he was down there before me, and he was still there when I left, I think.
Ted's recommending Wild West. I've purchased from Wild West too.
Pasadena.
Great
there's
customer experience.
There's a few shops. Dave's Guitars, Will Cut Guitars. I'm just crazy about Wildwood because I've gotten the best customer service. The guitars are fantastic. Most custom shop guitars are fantastic, by the way. Most of them are. A good 90% of custom shop guitars are fantastic, if not maybe a little more than that. But Wildwood Guitars, everyone there, Lars Guitar says he just got a 68 Gibson Custom Les Paul from Bruce at Wildwood. I've spoken to him too. They're all super nice. You know how you want a doctor to have amazing bedside manner, but still be serious about your ailment or whatever they got to do to take care of you? This is what Wildwood Guitars does. They have the best bedside manner. They go above and beyond. Justin gave me his cell phone number, so if I need to get him when he's on his day off, or if I want to get in touch with him before he goes to work. Now, I don't know that he'll do that for everyone, but I just bought 2 pretty expensive guitars. I'm sure he would do that for everyone. If you're buying a guitar from Justin, he wants to take care of you.
Right.
Lars, what year is your 68 reissue? Is it a new one?
I would imagine it has to be pretty new.
They could have had it on a trade or something. It could have been an older one. I have a 68 reissue, which is why I'm asking. One of my favorite guitars. You'll have to come on one if you're willing. You'd have to come on one night in 2020. That's very cool. If you're willing, you'll have to come on one night and show it off, man.
That's going to be, that guitar is going to have all hide glue. It's going to be as close to an original 68 Les Paul or even 50s Les Pauls as you could possibly get. Everything. So
my 68's older, so it would be cool. It would be cool to not mine's a custom shop reissue, but it's an older model, so it would be cool to compare the two because Lars's is probably done better than mine. He's got a white one. That's cool, man.
That's very cool. Shelly says, I do my own setups on all my guitars. Does it make a difference if the strings are twisted when I put on the guitar? Yeah, you got to try to keep them as straight. You want as straight pull as you can get on the fretboard and in the block of the bridge, and you want to have. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna solo myself for a second. If you can see that these strings are perfectly wound. They're not jumbled. They're perfectly wound on here. So they look like little Indians right there in a row. But that you'll get the best tuning stability like that. Make sure that the nut of the guitar is allowing the string to move back and forth freely, but not side to side, because that'll go out of tune. And you want to make sure that you're not hung up on the bridge either. So it's all good things to check.
Shelly, one thing that will help with that is a good area that you have to work with. Like if you have a place where you can lay the guitar out, you can slightly elevate the neck, and you have a good winder. For a player who is not much of a technician at all in terms of being able to do a lot of things, having the right tools can solve a lot of problems. And so a good area, whether you're using a dining room table or whether you're popping up an ironing board or whatever and putting your guitar on it, getting the guitar in a good position to do that is good. And you can see here, like mine too is wound a lot like Dave's in how I choose to wind those.
Yes.
So,
go ahead.
Nice tight, neat, and it'll certainly help the tuning stability.
And one more thing that I'm gonna, it's not even a suggestion, it's a recommendation. When you're tuning your guitar, never tune it flat like this, because it'll never be in tune. Because once you go like this, it'll be flat.
Yeah.
Tune it as if you were playing the guitar. Not like this either. Not like it's, like sitting on a 45-degree angle. Even if you have to put a strap on your guitar and tune it like as if you were playing straight up and down. Because when you do this, your tuning gets wonky. It's never the same tuning. You tune it like this and tune it to 440 or whatever you're tuning it to. You go like this, it's flat. You go, you tune it like if you tune it like this, if you tune it like this, if you tune it any way but on your body, your guitar will not be in tune when you put it on your shoulder and start to play.
Lars says, yeah, he'd be glad to come on. Lars, hit Dave on Facebook Messenger and let's schedule some time and come on and let's show off your cool new instrument, man.
Yeah, please. I'd love to do that.
He's got some cool stuff. I've seen Lars around for quite a while in the chats. He's a cool cat. That'll be fun.
Cool.
Taylor says, great show tonight, guys. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
So anything else, guys, before we say goodnight?
It's been fun. Good way to spend a Wednesday evening.
I agree. So everyone in the chat from now on, well, for now until further notice, we will be on Wednesday nights. The only Thursday night we will be doing is March 18th. And we will have Will Ray from the Helicasters on that night. So the only reason we are doing that Thursday is because he couldn't fit us in on his schedule on a Wednesday night. So we'll be doing that Thursday, but every other Wednesday from now until further notice. So on behalf of Ty and Ben, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know it was very last minute. We put the card up on Facebook yesterday. Thanks for checking us out. And,
thank you.
I will see you guys. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, Bozique.
And Bozique is here.
Hey, Bozique.
Nice to see you. Thanks for showing up. So I will see you guys next Tuesday when I do Guitar of the Week #2 at Well Strung Guitars. And we will see you next Wednesday.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. Hang on a second, guys. Let me...
Have a great week.
I'm not...
You're like me, Dave. Every show I do, I'm never prepared at the end.
So here we go.